Well, good evening and welcome back to Northern Bean Productions. We are looking at the 1969 Briggs. As you can tell, I've put it all back together now. Put the carburetor and the valve cover back on and the head and the exhaust system. And I put this together yesterday afternoon and I actually took it out and mowed my back lawn with it last night just to kind of evaluate what it was doing. There is some improvement in the oil smoke, but not a lot. You know, basically that's telling me that the rings are worn out in this engine. Some people suggested I put seafoam in it, and the same person suggested that I run heavy oil in it. I could do both of those things, I suppose, but they're not going to rebuild those worn out rings by putting heavy oil in it or putting seafoam in it and trying to clean it out. The damage is done. The motor is dirty inside. I don't know. I don't remember if the air filter was any good in it or not. I'm guessing not, because I don't seem to have another air filter around here that's worth a damn. The foam sponges were all deteriorated in it, and I suspect that probably this was running with a bad air filter in it. It's been this thing laid around here for 4 or 5 years before I ever did anything with it. But I did get the oil return hole from the lifter box cleaned out. It's not puking oil out of it anymore. I did mow out here for 15 or 20 minutes last night, and it's not leaking oil out of it anymore. So that's, that's going to help some, but it's not going to fix the worn out rings. So I think I'm going to try to start this, and I can show you guys basically what's going on here. I think I'm going to put you guys down here. Now if you keep your eyes peeled, you probably see the big cloud of smoke fly out of it when it starts. Not smoking terrible, but it is smoking some. So I guess at this point I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to run it a couple more times and try to evaluate how much oil it actually uses. But the machine itself is getting worn out too, and I don't really want to spend a whole lot of money or time on this thing anymore. This machine is not really worth restoring. It's worn bad in places. So, and I've run it, this thing's had the piss running right out of it for about 40 years worth of running time. The person I bought it from ran it for 30 years and it sat for 10 years, and I've run it for 10 years. So, and it mowed a lot of grass before I ever got it. So, but anyways, I hope that you and I both learned something from this. I mean, if you look back at that very first video, I think you will notice that there was some oil laying in the cylinder. Well, every time I've pulled the plug out of it, I let it run wide open with the decking gear in here I set the throttle wide open on it, and I let it run here for probably about 15 minutes this afternoon. And I shut it right off and took the plug out of it, and the plug was all wet with oil, so it's pumping oil. The valve guides are in pretty good shape in it. I don't believe that the oil is coming through the valve guides very much. It's just the rings are plainly worn out in it. I would not be shocked to take the rings out of that and find that they've got a 35 or 40 thousandths gap in them. So I'm going to leave it at that. And it's basically just going to get used as a spare mower here anyway, so I'm not going to mess around with it. In fact, I may put it into storage this fall and I may not use it again next year. I don't know. But its days of hard mowing are pretty much over with. I'm not going to be pushing this thing into any... For years I mowed the Oakfield Railroad Museum down the road here with this thing. I mowed it once a week at least, and that was a good 2-acre lot down there that I was mowing with this little machine, and it took a beating, so it's got a lot of time on it. And it's about time to let it rest. About time to quit whipping this poor old horse. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this little look at this old Briggs and Stratton, and at least some technical things. You never know, that might help somebody else out if somebody else has got an issue with one of these blowing oil. But I didn't get a drop of oil out of the bottom of that carburetor last night, so that's a good thing, because there was quite a big puddle of oil build up on there the other day, last week when I was running this. So, but anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. You all have a good one. Bye bye.